like we've been talking about, not only does it keep you honest, good competition, but at the same time, hey, sometimes these kind of collaborations can happen. We are helping Unreal developers in an area where perhaps Epic like felt, oh cool, we're not super strong here. We can collaborate with Unity, and perhaps there are some areas in that Epic really dominates that we're not as strong. It's like cool, let's actually help out. Like,
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to episode 89 of the Sandbox.Space weekly podcast. I'm your host, Chris, joined as always by Baby Girl, Pumpkin, who is over there, and of course, everybody in the chat. And of course, every week we have a special guest. This week's guest is Esteban. How are you today?
dude, I am super good. I'm relaxed. I am back home, where I'm from in Puerto Rico. I'm
Oh,
enjoying
nice.
during Christmas time, so it's like the the best time to be here. So yeah, I'm quite good. Like especially after some good traveling.
Mm-hmm.
I work. We just got back from Unite 2025. So nah, this chill Christmas time. Spend time with family. Nothing else more important than that. Yeah,
Yeah. So were
doing
you
good.
you were out on site at Unite? Was that in
Yeah,
Spain this year?
yeah. It was in Barcelona, Spain, this year,
Barcelona.
and Barcelona. Like, oh man, you got a lot of ton of animals
Yeah.
hanging
All right.
around.
I got pumpkin
Hi there.
and baby. They're the best pets, but um,
Right.
also can be needy sometimes. Yeah, that's exciting. I talked to Mike Geig a little bit about Unity because I didn't. We did a watch party for the Unite here in Columbus, but I didn't get a chance to go to it. I ended up getting busy. But I talked to Mike Geig a little bit about it, and I've got some questions
Good.
for you. So strap in.
Uh,
But
I'll try my best.
But for those in the audience, those interested, you are a developer advocate at Unity Technologies. But I don't know if you want to give a little background about yourself, just so people can know who you are.
Sure. So hi everyone. My name is Esteban Maldonado. Like Chris mentioned, I'm a developer advocate, or as other companies like call these kind of role like an evangelist, and it used to be called the evangelism team at Unity. So, but what that entails is that you take your game development skills and it's sort of like use them for good in terms of technical marketing. Um, so we use Unity, we learn about new features or perhaps existing ones that maybe not a lot of people know about, like stuff like maybe addressables, which has been have been around for a while, but just there's a lot of people that may not know about them. So we learn them, we show them in the editor and in live presentations. I That's one of the topics I talked about at GDEX this year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what we do. We're uh, kind of like Unity generalists that learn as much as they can about the engine and show it up at different events. Yeah,
Nice. So I have worked with Unity for probably 14 years, something like that. And in the old days,
right.
I mean, we're talking about like Unity 2.0, Unity 3.0, kind of working with the community. And in the old days, Unity used to be really, really engaged with the community. Like, we worked with, I mentioned Mike Geig before, I worked with him a lot. We
Yeah,
did an event for the Unity Roadshow, which I think was that the implementation of when they started doing, yeah, I'm trying to think when that was. That was maybe 2015, 2016. Unity had a roadshow for their latest version, which was probably 4.0 at that point, I think. And I remember, I don't know if I told you the story, but we found out a little bit late that Unity was doing this
yeah,
worldwide roadshow, and I was like, well, how do we get this into Columbus? And Mike connected me to the Unity Roadshow team, and we were kind of talking back and forth. And they were like, oh, sorry, we've already planned the dates. We can't change anything. I was like, is there something we can do? Can we do like a mini show or something? And they're like, I'll tell you what. This is Unity.
yeah.
We'll go ahead and do a pre-registration interest form and see if there's enough interest. And if there is, then we can do something. And we sold out on the pre-registration form, the fastest in the world, next to, I think it was us and Brazil tied for the fastest sellout of the
Whoa.
Unity Roadshow. And when they saw the results from that, they're like, okay, we're going to do something in Columbus. So we teamed up with Microsoft because Microsoft has a headquarters here, and we did the
Oh,
Unity Roadshow here in Columbus, sort of on a whim. And I think that just showed that there's so much interest here in Columbus and Central Ohio for gaming and game development, and that really, I think, helped because you know this. You fly over the world. A lot of people don't think about Ohio when they think about games development, and Unity didn't really think about Ohio. And so I think that helped put it in their mind that, like, oh, this is an opportunity to be involved. And so we ended up working with Unity a lot. And then we don't need to go into the back and forth of the darker days of Unity, but then Unity stopped doing a lot of the community stuff, and we couldn't really get them
yeah.
involved in the reach outs. And I know that the leadership had different plans, and we don't have to like relitigate any of that. But
Yeah, yeah.
I've had several conversations with Unity folks where I was like, you were the top dog. It reminds me very much of PlayStation. Unity was the top dog because they were in the community. They were so out, they were out there, they were talking to people, they were engaged with folks. Similar to PlayStation when they were moving from PlayStation 2 into PlayStation 3, but then they became kind of arrogant and it really hurt them. And I'm glad to see that Unity is back being community focused again, because I think it's really important. One, because it just shows you care. It shows that Unity is involved in our success. But then also it just helps flourish that community. So I'm kind of curious in your time being
Yeah.
at Unity, what have you noticed about kind of getting back to your roots as a community based, developer based organization?
So honestly, now I will say like there, there are a lot of like high end decisions, that they're not made by me,
Oh, of
nor
course,
necessarily by
of
our
course.
team. Like, I will say though, first of all, that is a fantastic story. The thing with in
Mm,
2016 with the Roadshow, because to match Brazil numbers, that's not an easy feat. I wanted to first mention that. So that is freaking awesome.
yeah.
I was not an advocate or an evangelist at that time, though. I actually joined Unity in 2019 in November, and so yeah, like I right now in this last month, I completed my 6 years in
Nice.
Unity, and so yeah, so kind of like yeah, thank you. So, what was I gonna say? And like the first 18 months, I was a Unity, I was a software engineer. I switched to the advocacy role around like 2020, late 2021 or early 2022, if I remember correctly. And yeah, so basically, right after COVID, or not after COVID, like when things were like starting to pick up again. And yeah, I will say, indeed, the team was much larger, like before my time. Like, my the team was much larger. Like I've heard stories from Mike from Mark Shonicle. You probably met before as well.
Hmm.
Like we're talking about people that have been doing this kind of role for over 10 years, really, and they've seen the company grow and also like the community efforts, and of course in recent events like the community efforts come down a little bit, but now we're like picking back up like you mentioned. And and i and i, uh, and I will say, so one of the things that in my time that I really like is that we focused on building up again and supporting a lot of Unity user groups. And in fact, we've actually started doing more efforts of getting more Unity user groups. I was in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, and one of the things that we're doing is that we're inviting external uh, group leaders to be able to, like, if they wanted to do an event, they'd want to get help from our team. From our team of Unity, let's say in the future, like there are in fact, wait, I'm kind of doing like I'm kind of telling the story kind of like in Pulp Fiction mode here, remembering one thing and then the other. But in fact, in GDEX, GDEX, there's a Unity employee that now is one of the co-leads
Hmm.
of a Unity user group right there in Columbus,
Yep.
right there in
That's where
Columbus.
the
So,
watch party was.
well, that's amazing. So very good start for the group. Very good start for the group as well. So that's amazing. Eric, I believe
Hmm. Yep.
the
Eric.
name Eric. Eric, good guy. Like as soon as as soon as that I told him, hey, we're looking for leads, like he jumped right in on it, and started being a co-lead. So we are doing efforts in growing that community. We've gotten new ones in Colombia. We've gotten, like I mentioned, in Buenos Aires. Now sorry, in Argentina we got two new ones. We've gotten in Chicago, in I believe one of them in Toronto, but um, um, I, I would need to check. But the thing is that we are investing in the community much more than when we started. That when I started in the role, and
Hmm.
honestly, I see it as a very positive change. And the other thing is that, to be honest, we've achieved a lot, like with just being like five people, with the exception of like Asia, like China, Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, like. But for the rest of the world, like Europe, Latin America, South America, Mexico, the U.S., Canada, it's like Mike, Mark, Manuel Sensili, who now is the lead of the live stream. So he's no longer an advocate. Myself and Bradson and Corey Green, who's the one advocate in Europe.
Oh,
So
wow. That's a
so
big
so
territory for one dude.
yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. However, one thing that we've noticed is that across Unity is not just the us. Sometimes it's not just advocates that actually do this community outreach. We have some support engineers. For example, these support engineers that live in Colombia, and the reason I'm mentioning a lot of Latin America, South America right now is, that's where I was.
Hmm.
Those were one of the recent trips, right? So got it fresh in my head. But but what we are noticing, my team, that sometimes, there are folks that like to do this community outreach as well. And rather than us saying like, oh, no, 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 that's our job. That's our job. No, no, no. We actually empower them. We help them out. Like, oh, you got this covered? You got anything you need? Do you want to buy some, let's say you want to buy some food for an event or anything like that? You got this covered? Cool. We'll go ahead and we can go ahead and like and we can actually go ahead and visit another city, or perhaps we join you and we combine our efforts. So if we see anybody internally at Unity that is excited, they want to be out there with us, like, hell yeah, we welcome them. We want, like, if they got the passion and the drive for it and they're ready to go, yeah, why reject that? So
Yep.
we've gotten so so thankfully like some of the efforts that we've done have inspired internal Unity folks that that's not their main job, and sometimes they join us as well, and it's a good collaboration.
Yeah, totally. I've always kind of lived under the principle. It's like I would rather surround myself with like good, passionate, hardworking people that are better than me at things. And,
Oh
because
yeah.
then you're around folks who can help, they can teach you, they can connect you to resources. And that's how I feel the same with like a lot of the tech we use, as me as kind of a leader in the space. And, we help a
Yeah.
lot of indie devs and small businesses. We're platform agnostic in a way, but I can only help out the businesses as much as, Unity helps me out, right? Like the more resources I have access to, the more people like you I'm able to communicate with, the easier it is for me to answer their questions or direct them in a direction that is helpful for them.
Yeah.
And I'm super appreciative because I've really noticed a change around Unity after a
I'm
couple
glad.
less than good decisions. We'll say it seems like you all are back in the saddle again, which I think is also. I have this thing in the video game space. I think in most industries, and most research shows this, but particularly in the video game industry, it's really good to have about like three major players in the space and whatever you're doing. So, we have PlayStation, Microsoft, Nintendo on the console side. And of course, we have Steam
Yeah.
and whatnot. I think it's good because then you get some collaboration, you get some competition. And when it came to game engines, I mean, pretty much pre Unity for indie folks, there was nothing. I mean, you had to kind of build your own stuff, and there was a
Yeah.
couple like maybe smaller ones. Then Unity came on the scene, and I think really changed the game where you had access to like a top tier engine.
Yeah.
Something that was like more than some of the freeware, like open source stuff. And it really changed the game. And of course, then when Unreal came in, I think that added a lot. And now we've got stuff like I'm hearing a lot of conversations around Godot lately. A lot of people are utilizing
Yeah.
Godot. I don't know if you have any experience or thoughts on Godot, but I like having a couple big players in the space that can kind of like you're all learning from each other, but you're also like responding to customer feedback in a way that I don't think happens if it's just one player, one company.
No, no. I've used Godot personally, and I've tried it out because like it's getting like it's being. I'm not gonna say it's gaining traction. No, no, no. It's a. I would say that. I would say that it's a solid player, like you mentioned. And a lot of people definitely adopting it. I think it's a very good engine. I and from my experience, I've used it in two game jams. So I don't have like a lot of extended experience with it, but it's been very comfortable to use. Very good competitor. Sorry.
Yeah, and I should
Uh,
Caleb from the chat also mentioned Game Maker. I would be remiss if I forgot Game Maker. So
yes,
apologies.
please. Yes, please. A lot of solid 2D games as well uh, with Game Maker. But so yeah, honestly, in fact, I am gonna go out on a limb here and like say like sometimes we've actually heard some feedback from folks like for example I've heard multiple times, like, Godot, one of the pros of Godot is like it can basically run on a toaster, and like how lightweight it is. It's one of the biggest pros. At least, as a installation and getting started. And I've heard some people say, like, honestly, like I love Unity, but it's gotten so big that
Mm-hmm.
it can only run very limited in a very limited way in my computer. I downloaded Godot and it ran super fast, so I had to stick with Godot. And I'm like, you know what? Hell yeah, that's solid feedback. That's solid feedback.
Sure,
And I told the person like, and I told the person like, yes, if this is your way to success at the moment, like go for it. Like we in our team we in our team, yes, we love Unity and everything, but we never say like Unity is the only way to have success. Nah, hell no. That's not true. That's not true. It is a good way to have success, but it's not the only way. So we've supported people sometimes even if our tech fails in some way, and it kind of provides something that we we have pointed people in the direction of competing products. Sometimes
sure.
it's not the majority of times, but
Yeah, well,
if it needs to happen,
and it's
yeah,
good for you all because
yeah,
that feedback. If somebody is telling you, because this is one of the issues I have right now with
hell yeah,
Discord. We use Discord for our work and stuff, but Discord's getting so bloated now that, and it's like every time I load it up, it has to update. So that's good
oh yeah,
feedback because if somebody's telling you in essence that your software is getting too big, too bloated, that could be a little mental note for you guys. But like, okay, maybe we need to do some cleanup. Maybe there's a way we can refactor or
exactly,
reorganize the software so it's a little easier to use.
yeah, and of course other kinds of feedback. Like a lot of people appreciate even me. I saw it kind of cool. Like well, me personally, I prefer to have my coding IDE to have, be separate, like on Writer or Visual Studio. However, there's a lot of people, and I had a good experience with it as well. The Godot, the in editor IDE script that like immediately tells you the errors and everything. Like, it's like shit, shoot, that's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah,
um, so me personally, I prefer to work on my code on a dedicated tool, that has a lot of extra features and whatnot, but it was comfortable. So, that's another kind of feedback and consideration. You
yeah,
know, uh, yeah,
yeah.
but
Awesome.
no,
Oh, go ahead.
but I definitely open, yeah, but it definitely, I think that having good competitors, like it keeps us busy in a good way. So,
Hmm.
uh, I welcome it.
Yeah, I always joke it helps keep you honest. Um,
Exactly, and
yeah,
humble a little bit at times.
yeah. And also, I think what's going on, another thing I'm kind of curious about, we're talking about game engines. This is your experience, but we've noticed over the past year or so that Unreal 5 seems to be having some recurring performance issues and a couple issues around some of its rendering, particularly with some of the AI systems that are external to
Yeah.
Unreal, like the PSSR from PlayStation. And, I think it's good for us, one, to have more options because if Unreal is having issues, now you're not locked into one environment, right? But
Yeah.
also, I'm sure there's things that you guys are learning as you watch what Epic is doing to be like, oh, this
Yeah.
kind of works, this doesn't work. People are enjoying this feature, they're not enjoying that feature. So having other players in the field is it's an educational opportunity for you as well.
And also, by the way, how do people react when you were at the oh, no, no, you couldn't attend the watch party, correct?
I couldn't,
Or
but Caleb came to
ah,
it. There's a few people in chat that said it was a really good time.
oh, nice.
So
How do
go.
people react when it like well, I guess this is more a question for the chat. I was kind of curious, how do people react when Tim Sweeney and Matt, they're on the stage, Unity and
Mm,
Epic. I will say I will say when I saw it on stage, I was watching the keynote, like it's like, huh, interesting. Nice surprise. What a nice surprise. This is pretty cool. So
Caleb says it was
uh
wild to see it.
nice. Yeah, when we were at the Florida Unite, some people were like what the hell? When did that happen? Like, what? It's like, dude, I found out exactly when you found out. I did not know, but it was a nice surprise. So again, not only, like we've been talking about, not only does it keep you honest, good competition, but at the same time, hey, sometimes these kind of collaborations can happen.
Hmm.
You know, so so we are helping Unreal developers in an area where perhaps Epic like felt, oh cool, we're not super strong here. We can collaborate with Unity, and perhaps there are some areas that Epic really dominates that we're not as strong. It's like, cool, let's actually help out. Like, there's a reason why people use Epic for their games or for their simulations. Yeah, let's not fight it. Let's not fight it. Let's also try and see how else we can collaborate together. So
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful. You know what?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So one of my questions is, and I don't expect you to have the answer to this because nobody does, but we, I said we, last month, PlayStation, uh, not
Yeah,
officially, but sort of came out and they're like, we're about halfway through the PlayStation 5's life cycle, which
yeah,
it came out in 2020. So we're looking at, if that's true, let's just assume that's true. We're not going to see a PS5 Xbox refresh for at least another 3 years, if not 4 or 5, making it like a 9 or 10 year life cycle. That's a pretty
yeah,
long console life cycle when PCs, particularly on the GPU front, are really chugging along. So I'm curious your thoughts on, and I would say this is a pretty good console generation. I don't think it lived up to the. It was supposed to be 4K 60 FPS was like the standard,
ray
and
tracing.
yeah, and we haven't lived up to that. I think we're seeing a lot of 30 FPS games running at some sort of upscaled, upresed 4K.
Yeah,
That's why we've got the fidelity mode and the performance mode or whatever. But I'm just curious with what you're seeing as you're working on the engine, as you're engaging with other developers. Um, that seems like a really long life cycle to me.
yeah.
Do you think that? I mean, do you think that games are going to be kind of stuck in this like kind of middle space for the next 3 or 4 years? I mean, granted, we had COVID that kind of threw things
Yeah.
around a little bit, but I was just curious your thoughts on that.
I will admit, like, this is one area, the console space is one area that uh, uh, I'm gonna have to claim some ignorance, because I don't work a lot with I don't work a lot with like console developers. Like, usually it's more like indie folks that like launch for Steam, for either for Mac, and if it's consoles, most of the time it's people targeting Switch as well, because because their game perhaps fits the actual structure of the Switch, the mobile experience. So so to be honest, I'm not entirely sure. However, and this is something that perhaps, since we've been talking about consoles, Uh, those that Steam hardware that they announced, and this is me personally. This is not necessarily me as a Unity employee, but like me
Sure.
personally, when I saw it, I was like, "Huh, dang, that's pretty cool." Like,
Okay.
and yeah, that that's gonna be very interesting. Oh, one thing I can say, more and more, now that I mentioned Steam, more and more I've seen people in multiple areas of the world like just bringing their Steam decks and showing their games. So a lot of
Yeah.
people, which is okay, which is okay. You know, they have their pitch decks, they have their game trailers or gameplay footage, and that's awesome. However, I'm seeing more and more people meeting with publishers and be like, "Oh, here's our game," but instead of just showing to you and talking to you about it, hell yeah, let me let me talk to you about it while you play it. Like,
Yeah.
here's the product, right?
It's funny.
And I
It's
think
funny
that
you
is
say that.
amazing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
funny you say that because I was at an event last. It was earlier this year, and I was talking to one of our sort of GDEX family developers, and they were, they've shown at GDEX a bunch of times, and I was just like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, good. We're working on a new game. I was like, oh, okay, cool. What is it? What's it about? And they kind of told me what it was about. I was like, oh, that
yeah,
sounds interesting. And they told me some of the challenges that they were having. I was like, oh, well, if I can be of help in any way, just let me know. And they were like, thank you. And then I went and sat down at a table and I was doing some stuff. And like 30 seconds later, he came back with his Steam Deck to show me the demo of the game. And I was like,
that's
oh,
amazing.
when I meant like, I meant like down the road, right? Like maybe in a couple of months, you could send me a build or something. But he had a
Yeah,
build ready to go on his Steam Deck that allowed him
that's
to
amazing.
show it to me. And we were able to have, because his biggest issue was around some of the controls. So we were able to kind of talk through those issues like right there and then. But it definitely caught me off guard because I wasn't expecting it. But I do think that's really cool. What do you think the price is going to be on that Steam box? That's the
Uh, uh,
question.
that is the question that even me, I'm like, how much money should I set aside? Because me personally, I'm interested in that, either in that box, and I like and I like the attitude of not gonna lie, I like the attitude of Valve, which is like, oh, it comes pre-installed with Steam OS. You want to install Windows on it? I don't know, it's your thing. Do whatever you want
Yeah.
with it. Like I I love that. I love that attitude. But anyway, price point, that box, I don't know, like maybe I don't know, maybe I don't know, I don't know, 2.5 grand or 2 grand sounds
Okay.
I mean, I mean, they say that it's like six Steam decks, the power 5 or 6 Steam decks, but all
Yeah.
right, like,
No, I'm just curious.
and
Yeah.
each Steam deck, yeah,
Before
maybe two
before we
grand, maybe 1,500. Yeah,
Okay. Before we got on, somebody on my Facebook, they posted, they're like, this Steam box is really gonna take a chunk out of PlayStation. I was like, I don't think so. Because
interesting.
I think that you are gonna have. I think you have two different audiences, and when you're looking at a $500-$600 console compared to a $1,200, in
Yeah,
essence, game specific PC, it's just a different audience that I think. So I don't think Sony will take too big of a hit on that, but I am curious about
interesting.
it. We got a question from Caleb here. It says, "What's your favorite upcoming feature in Unity?"
Oof. Actually, I was looking at there's multiple. You know what? Even though the graphics are flashy, I was looking at the engine roadmap, like as I was answering emails and whatnot. I gotta admit that I'm blanking on the name. I'm blanking out on the name, but the feature where you code your um, where you code your platform specific code and you do it once and um, I can't I cannot believe I'm blanking out on the name. James Stone was literally talking about this in the room of a few moments ago. But it's a feature where you basically set they abstracted away the different kind of variables and code that you need to do in order to deploy to different consoles like from Switch, Android, iOS. So basically they making it and a lot easier and faster to deploy to different builds. And and make it easier to pass actual deployment tests. So, um, but I forget the actual I forget the proper name. But beyond that, stuff like custom lighting, in URP, terrain shaders, which is something that I've explored. It's really cool. And yeah, honestly, there's multiple features. Oh, and there's also new multiplayer templates that are part of 6.3 that I'm definitely gonna spend some time and mess around with. Chunky cat.
Uh, yeah, that sounds awesome. I'm always looking for anything that can help multi-platform. That's one of the things I talk to my students, and I talk to indie developers a lot, because I think there is a, for new devs.
Sorry. Platform toolkit. God damn it. I
Okay.
was looking at I was looking on the platform toolkit. Cross-platform API. There we go.
Okay.
Please look at the engine roadmap and yes.
Yeah, because I think there's, I have a lot of conversations with indie developers and students where they're like, "Oh, I can just use Unity and send it out to multiple platforms," and I'm like, "Yes,
Yes
but
and no.
there's still a lot of, it's like anything else. It kind of gets you 80% of the way there, but there's still specific things, and you're gonna have to go through cert on each of these platforms." And I try to tell indie developers, one of the things that can kill you as a small studio is releasing on too many platforms too quickly, because all that post release,
Yes.
the testing, the post release support, it eats up your time. So anything that can help smooth out that transition, I think will be very, very useful.
Du Dude, and when you add localization on top of that,
Oh yeah.
when you I wanna support 10 languages, like, wait. I mean, that's awesome,
Hmm.
but, little by little, like, it's basically you're multiplying, like, N by M, where M is the amount of platforms and N is the amount of languages,
Yeah.
super super expands. What was I gonna say? Like, I was, one of the things, back in 6.0, that really I was like, "Wow, why didn't this come sooner?" But, better late than never. The build profiles. The setting where you actually instead of like in 2022, you had to like, "Oh, now we're gonna build for Android. So let's put the the mobile friendly scenes over here, and let's build it. And then let's go back to PC. Now let's put the PC friendly settings
Hmm.
and scenes against." No, now you have the build profiles that that have not only scene settings but also even render settings as well. You can have it per platform,
Okay.
per platform and quality level as well. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's super
that is
useful.
super useful.
As
Yeah.
a primarily console guy, you can definitely tell sometimes when you put a game in and you're like, this game was developed for PC, like straight up, and they just kind of like
Oh,
finagled around to make it work for a console or whatever. Um, uh,
nice.
but yeah, one of my friends, he did a cool game. It's pretty old now. It's called Dragon Fin Soup. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a pretty neat game.
Dragon suit.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool game. But he ended up getting, he was going to do a PC release, and I don't remember the exact order. So, forgive me for the details here, but it was something like he ended up getting Xbox to give him some money to do an Xbox release. And then he ended up getting some money from PlayStation to also do a PlayStation release. So he ended up doing this like simultaneous platform release, and it just ate his studio alive. It was just
Ooh,
so much dev time, so much post release support. So,
yeah,
lesson learned, even if they're going to give you money to do that release, you still need to make sure you're doing some sort of staggered release if you're a smaller studio, because it just takes
right.
time to test all these things out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Caleb's like he really likes the the multi-platform idea. His question is about feature parity for asymmetrical features. How is that going to be supported? So I think that's still an outstanding question, but it sounds cool.
Yeah. Now it is something that like it's definitely, if I'm not mistaken, for 6.3, and of course, still gonna be um either maintained, updated and whatnot. So definitely very new. The platform toolkit that I mentioned.
Hmm.
Um another yeah, another feature is like want to explore and I think I'm gonna have some time with like doing custom lighting for with the render graph API that and that is part of 6.3 as well. One of the newer updates. Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say this to you because I'm saying this to everybody that I speak to because it's driving
Sure.
me fucking crazy. Okay?
Bring
It's more of an Unreal issue than a Unity issue, but I think we as a society, as a gaming society, we need to stop doing the auto eye correction brightness changing. I hate that when you go like in and out of buildings and the brightness shifts, or you look up at like a bright thing and then you look down.
Oh,
That auto brightness exposure thing, that's like it's called like the auto eye adjustment feature. I hate that
yeah.
feature. I wish it was thrown in the backyard and, buried 6 feet under the. I hate it, and I hope that we as a gaming society learn to never use it in the future. So take that with you and do whatever you would like with it.
I'll take that feedback because that even happens in the Unity, the URP sample. Like there's a scene where it's like a dune, like this desert with a little pond, very nice looking. But there's a tent that you go in, and there's like some like mysterious tea that you can drink or whatnot. I mean, you don't drink it, but it looks like
Yeah,
you could drink it. But once you step out of the tent, you get that you get that glare, you get that glare momentarily, and it just adjusts as well. So it happens in real life, when you go into a very bright place after being in a dark place. But
yeah.
I
Well,
see your point. It's like
my
maybe we don't need to simulate absolutely everything.
yeah, my argument is like my eyes already do that. So like I don't need the game to do it. And I find it very distracting because the thing is a lot of TVs I have all turned off on my TV. I know I'm a curmudgeon. I'm an old man yelling at clouds here. I have a 77-inch LG OLED screen, and I bought
Nice.
the maintenance remote for it so I could access the like behind the scenes features, so I could turn off
Okay.
all of those things because I don't want it auto adjusting or whatever. And a lot of TVs already do that. So it's like the TV's making the adjustments, and now the game is making the adjustments, and like the PlayStation is sometimes making the adjustments. So I just constantly, it feels like things are
Oh,
going back and forth all the time. And I just find it really distracting. I don't like it. I just want my scene to look like my scene. So that's just
so
me.
so it's like a lasagna of adjustments.
Yeah.
Like it could
Yeah.
come from the engine level, from the console level, from the TV level. Like,
Yeah,
oh man,
exactly. And
oof,
I just feel
that is a
like
tough one.
my take on it is I'm 44 years old. We have managed to go through 40 years of video games without that feature. I don't think we need that feature. And we did just fine. We did just fine in the
Exactly.
2000s. We did just fine in the 2010s. We don't need that stupid feature. So I'm just anybody that has any inkling of power in the world. I always tell them that because I at least give me the ability to turn it off. That's all I'm asking for.
Fair
So,
enough.
uh, yeah.
I'll take that feedback.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, that's the answer. I will write that feedback down. Thank you very much. Uh, so where we got a little bit of time left. You mentioned that you just got back. You're now at home in beautiful Puerto Rico, whereas in Columbus,
That's
Ohio, beautiful Columbus, Ohio, it is snowing. Uh, in 2026,
I, I do not miss any snow.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, that's quite a
I'm
bit.
sorry, but yeah.
No, no, no. So in 2025 and 2026, you did a lot of traveling in 2025. I assume you'll do more traveling in 2026. I'm curious what pockets of the world you're noticing are really jumping into the game dev space.
Hmm. I would say I would say like Latin America for sure. Like South America is stepping up their game like crazy, and I gotta give a shout out to people in Argentina and Brazil. I mean, Brazil has been strong for a while, but
Yeah.
um but I feel that they either maintaining or getting like getting stronger. I guess Brazil, you see more as like somebody that went to the gym for a good couple of years, and they're not they're not as big the delta between like where they started and how they are because they're already super strong, so they're only like uh but but I feel like, for example, areas like Colombia, Argentina, and now I'm recently seeing Peru as well. definitely growing. Outside of South America, I would say the Emirates, like the United Arab Emirates, they're growing a lot as well. That area as well, and and in fact,
Well, we just had the that
Mark,
big
oh,
EA
go ahead.
acquisition from
Oh, that
with
was with Saudi Arabia, if I'm
yeah,
not
that was like
mistaken, right?
Saudi Arabia. So we're seeing like that region begin to jump in
Yeah.
a big way. Obviously, the EA thing is like a whole other. Like we could spend an hour probably talking about that alone, but
That is a whole nother that is a whole nother topic with a lot of economics and stuff that I'm not ready to discuss because it's not my area.
sure.
But at the same time, it is crazy. But you don't need to be a macroeconomics expert to know that clearly there's a lot of financial influence, like
Yeah,
that is going to be affecting one area of the world. Yeah,
if it had been a different company, like the fact that it was EA, which is one of the largest and longest running video game studios and publishers in the world, like that says
yeah.
something.
Indeed, but I gotta give a shout out to the Abu Dhabi game. That is this is in the United. This is in
Y-
the I believe it's the capital of the United Arab Emirates. I
mhm.
gotta give a shout out to the Abu Dhabi Gaming Abu Dhabi Gaming folks that they are really getting stronger. In fact, just, they they recently started new Unity user groups over there as well. So and it
Okay.
and do honestly, like, but it's interesting. You know, Amir, you know this person, Amir Sabat?
Yeah. Mhm.
Uh, this dude that has been, like, giving out a lot of, he has this community of people volunteering. In fact, like, I joined. I've helped out some people, with resume reviews and all that, as part of his efforts. And it's true, like he does mention something that is really interesting, and like, and it's true. A lot of jobs and a lot of opportunities. You know, the games industry, it is getting more globalized, and that does actually affect North America. You know, Canada, U.S. Because a lot of more opportunities are going out. Outside, but that doesn't mean that there's not going to be any opportunities in the US or Canada, but it's something that it is indeed it is indeed happening. It's part of the evolution, and it has its pros and cons depending on where you are in the world. Uh, but one of the pros that I see is one of the pros that I see is that it does let new cultures to, like, tell their own stories as well. Like
Sure.
there's a whole so that's one of the positives that I see as well. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. There's actually, I just looked up, there's the Games of the Future, which is a
Mhm.
conference that's happening on December 18th in Abu Dhabi, which
Hmm.
I'd never heard of this before, but their website
Me neither, to be
looks
honest.
slick. So,
Nice. Uh, it obviously takes a little bit of pocket to a little bit of pocket to get there,
sure.
but yeah.
I would
But
also
yeah.
be remiss since you mentioned Amir's group, but I remind folks that the Sandbox.Space professional game development community is live. So you can go to the Sandbox.Space and join our game dev Discord, and we're going to start. We've kind of soft launched here in December, but we're going to be hard launching in January as a professional development community for those who want to be working on their projects and working with teams, and hopefully we can help them be successful, like we've done with GDEX and we've done with the Shawnee XP Accelerator as well. So it's like a digital incubator slash professional community group that we've got going on.
Shawnee, as in Shawnee University?
Yeah,
No,
Shawnee State. Oh,
no, no,
have
no.
we not? Yeah,
Oh,
Shawnee State University. Yeah, the Shawnee XP
well, yeah, yeah.
Accelerator.
Nice, nice. I met some of the students in GDEX, and I'm blanking on the professor's name, but he was really cool. Like, was telling me about, you know different learning programs, like from art and design
Yeah, it's
and software
probably
development. Like,
Travis
really
or
really
Garrett.
cool.
Would be my guess. Travis.
Travis.
Yep.
That rings a bell. That rings a bell. So shout out to Travis. Oh, but by the way, Chris, you know, I kind of answered the previous question. I think it was more like but that was more like the answer of like up and coming communities, or communities that are getting like, you know, that have seen a change in
Hmm.
how strong they're getting in game development. Like, however, what is, San Francisco, Seattle, Toronto, Vancouver. Oh my God, these communities are still so freaking strong. Like it's so freaking strong. And in fact, and in fact, a lot of the games that I saw in Ohio as well. So really, I really like, and I like seeing that game development is not, it's not just mainly in the West Coast, in the
Yeah.
West Coast of the US. I think that, and I've seen them. Oh, Boston! Definitely got to give a shout out to Boston, as well. And of course, like sincerely, it's not like I feel that, there's a lot of communities, that are getting stronger, but a lot of these are just, I mentioned it because, it's communities that I visited, that I visited either recently or throughout 2025. And by the way, I will say, I gotta give a shout out to Toronto Games Week. That was awesome. That community, yeah, that community actually, they say Toronto Games Week, but this thing is basically starting to extend to Toronto Games Month. It's like a series of mini events that the city of Toronto holds, and in fact, they kickstarted they kickstarted their week by taking a very big projector and basically Batman signaling onto, an old brewery that the city has, and they kickstarted the week that way by like just showing video games made in Toronto, and people could actually play on this giant screen, sort of like a Batman signal to the city, telling like, we make games here, like
Yeah.
check it out,
That's
and come
awesome.
check it out.
We should do something like
Yeah,
that for GDEX. Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
I mean, one of my goals obviously is to put Columbus and Ohio on the map. So when people are asking you that question as you're traveling around the world, that folks
Yeah.
like you think about us fondly.
Like, and in fact, now there's, more reasons. There's GDEX, there's GDEX as a Unity user group, to visit. So yeah,
And yeah,
more
I'd
reasons to
love to
visit Columbus.
I'd love to get you out too to see the Shawnee Games, the Shawnee XP Accelerator, sometime. So we could talk offline about that because that was a very good program, and we had 10 companies go through. I believe 5 and possibly 6 have been funded or gotten publisher deals. One's had a release, which is so it's just
Look
really
at that!
exciting for us to be putting
Look at
stuff out
that!
there.
When is that again? When in the year?
So the accelerator, we can talk offline about it. The accelerator is a
Okay,
federally funded program, and the goal is to do it twice a year. It's a 10-week program for
yeah,
teams that we bring in, and then the Sandbox.Space incubator is a year-round thing, but that's digital, and so we're helping folks throughout the year and across
yeah.
the world really to try to be successful.
True.
That's what we're trying to
I
do,
love
man.
that.
Let me just double check on. Have I missed any questions here? Nope. Yeah, I know Boston. There's a lot of really good stuff going on in Boston. Of course, PAX East is out in Boston, and so that helps bring a lot of game
Yeah,
love to that region.
MIT Reality Hack. That's a
Yep.
that's that's a that's another event that I've been like, oh my God, I've been wanting to go, but either like recently it's been conflicting with, our efforts with, Global Game Jam. But
Hmm.
every time I send a hug to the MIT Reality Hack, for folks that don't know, and if you haven't been, oof, oh, it's an amazing event.
I have not, but I would love to go. I know.
It's
I
really
think
good.
I think Boston Fig is back. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Festival of Indie Games. I think that's come back. Um, and then Chicago had some cool stuff too, but I feel like Chicago's kind of since COVID hasn't had as many events. Um,
It was, Night Wolf, or, dude, why do I blank? I'm horrible with names right now. I'm horrible with names. Looking at uh I'm literally looking at my own actual, reports to like, remember the, Neon City, uh but also like Columbia College in Chicago, like they hold different events, and in fact, I went there on April. It was Night City. Night City. There we
Night
go.
City.
I
Okay.
didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave them behind. I didn't want to. Night City community in Chicago. They actually they hold multiple events across a year. But when I went there, they kind of mixed like Night City and Columbia College, so we can
Okay.
invite students and also some professionals. But got an
Cool.
awesome community over there as well.
Well, we're getting close to the end of our time here, and one of the
Okay.
things I've noticed this is 2025 was a rough year for a lot of folks, and a lot of layoffs and a lot of like negative things going on, a lot of conversations around AI. So I'm trying to be a more positive as we go forward. Not that we should ignore the realities of what's going on, but also there's a lot of good things. So
Correct.
I'm starting
Correct.
to ask in these conversations, ask my guests like, what is something you're really optimistic about or excited about in the games industry? It can be about Unity, it could be about game development, it could just be about games in general. But what is one thing as we come off of Thanksgiving here, something that you're really optimistic and excited about in the games industry coming up in the near future, or that you see happening right now?
Hmm. One.
Nothing.
There's multiple. There's multiple. The thing is that but I don't want to focus on the tech side because I could say yes, I am very happy about I am very happy about some decisions of like how the Unity engine is growing. But not everything is about the tech. I'd rather give a more community focused answer. And I would say that in general, I've seen communities like get stronger, and like you're saying, like you're talking about the Shawnee Accelerator program. That's good. Vancouver has their accelerator program as well, and Abu Dhabi's growing. Abu Dhabi's growing. Latin America's growing. Like it's weird. It's weird, but even though with all the layoffs, with all these, the opportunities are still there. However, however, I still feel like you're saying that the world is indeed changing. I believe, but there are still opportunities. In fact, I don't remember who I was talking about it, but like a friend of mine's that they actually work more on the film side. Like you know how like the films industry, they have more unions, they have more
Hmm.
they they have more. It's sort of like and the union protects, and a lot of people actually work temporary gig to temporary gig. So, and they said like they said like I can honestly see that the games industry, and this is again, this is more like personal opinion, not really me
Yeah.
as a Unity rep, but I could see that the games industry could move into a similar direction. We are seeing more unionizing efforts. We are seeing people that we are seeing that people want to still make games. People want to tell their stories, but at the same time, they want to be able to also make a living. And I think that there's a merging between those two. On top of all the layoffs that have been happening, on top of all the changes in technology, new AI developments, new AI developments here and there, but there are the opportunities, there are the opportunities because there's still people that I meet that that they're meeting with publishers, they are getting deals, some of them not. Still a struggle. It's still a struggle. But I think but I think that this industry is it is going to continue. It is, and we still have to look for the opportunities. Like for example, perhaps VR, especially now that Steam, they're going to launch that headset, which looks slick as hell, and we don't know the price point yet. But again, perhaps there may be a resurgence of VR games or XR games. So we got to keep the eyes open. Like you mentioned, I feel optimistic in general about the future, but at the same time, yeah, we got to dealing with the realities of it. So, um,
Sounds good
And
to
again,
me.
this yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much. We got to wrap up here, but I really appreciate you being on the show. I would love to have you back in the future. Before we end, is there any way for people to follow you or get a hold of you if they're interested?
Sure. People can search Esteban Maldonado on LinkedIn. I am quite active on LinkedIn. Second place, I would say Instagram. It's Esteban Game Dev, similar to like my Discord name, like as you can see there, at Esteban Game Dev. And Instagram and LinkedIn, you're basically good. You're basically good, and very active on LinkedIn. So yeah, feel free to reach out.
Okay, awesome. Well, this has been episode 89 of the Sandbox.Space weekly podcast. A reminder that we do this every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and then we post the videos on our YouTube channel for the GDEX, so youtube.com/the GDEX. We will have some updates coming. I swear I keep saying this every week about GDEX. We're just waiting to get our weekend organized, but we'll have some updates about the GDEX Expo, and a reminder, you can go to thesandbox.space and join our Discord for our professional community Discord group. Yeah, I want to say that this has been episode 89. On behalf of myself, Baby, Pumpkin, everyone on the chat, our special guest, Esteban, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.
Thank you for having me. Bye.